Viktor Hovland just won $4 million, and the shot everyone is talking about isn't even his. Monday playoff, Hovland finds the fairway, Scheffler hits his approach even closer. One putt goes in, one doesn't. Simple, right? Not really. Everyone is saying Hovland just took down the world number one. But there's a problem with that story. Scheffler didn't three-putt in 4 full days, not once. Then on the only putt that decided everything, he missed from 4 feet. How does that even happen? And here's the twist. Scheffler wasn't even mad after. He praised Hovland. He said his own game feels good. He stayed calm. That almost makes it weirder. Meanwhile, Hovland hadn't won anything in 15 months. His swing was a total mess. People were writing him off. Even his own fans had doubts. So now you have to answer one question. Did Hovland beat Scheffler, or did Scheffler beat himself? Think about your answer, because it might change by the end of this video. Tell me your pick in the comments right now, and subscribe if you're new here. I really want to see whose side you're on. Alright, here's the part most people missed. Rewind to Sunday night, because that's where the answer starts hiding. Scheffler wasn't limping into that Monday playoff. He was walking in as the most in-control player anyone had watched all week. Across 4 full rounds at TPC River Highlands, he never once three-putted a green. Think about how absurd that is on a course that fast, under that much pressure, with $4 million sitting on the line. The guy treated the greens like they owed him money, and Sunday itself should have been the story. A storm rolled in with the leaders on the 14th hole, lightning in the sky, play stopped for over an hour. When everyone came back out, the light was fading fast. Hovland made his move, poured in birdies, and suddenly the 2-shot cushion Scheffler had been sitting on was gone. It came down to the final green in near darkness, Scheffler needing an 8-footer just to stay alive. Most players tighten up there. He rolled it dead center, threw a fist pump into the dark, and forced everyone to come back the next morning. That's the version of Scheffler the whole world knows. Ice in the veins. The clock says midnight, the trophy's on the line, and he makes the putt anyway. So when Monday morning came around, the ending felt written already. Both men found the fairway off the 18th tee. Hovland put a good swing on his approach and left himself around 7 or 8 feet. Then Scheffler stepped up and did what Scheffler does. He stuffed it. His ball settled inside 4 feet, closer to the cup than his opponent's. Exactly where the best player alive is supposed to leave it. At that moment, if you'd stopped the broadcast and asked 1,000 golf fans who wins, nearly every hand goes up for the same guy. He had the shorter putt. He had the resume. He had the whole thing sitting in his palm. Hovland putted first and made his. Now the pressure sat entirely on those 4 feet. And here's the part that still doesn't compute. The man who didn't miss a single 3-putt in 72 holes. The man who drained a slippery one in the dark 12 hours earlier pushed this one. The ball came off the face a touch too hot, caught the left edge and slid right on past. 7 feet past, actually, not a lip out, not a spike mark or a bad bounce, just a little too much pace on the putt of the tournament. And it was over. Hovland had his trophy, and Scheffler had another second-place finish he'll be thinking about for a while. Now watch what he did next, because this is where the real story lives. There was no club slam, no staring at the sky, no storming off to the scoring tent. He walked over, congratulated the winner, and when the cameras found him, he was almost eerily level. He said he hit it on his line, and it was just a little firm. He called it one of those putts you had to make. Then he said something that most people skimmed right over. He described the whole week as solid, said his ball striking felt great, and told everyone his game was in a good spot. A guy who just gave away $4 million on a 4-footer, and he's talking like he shot a casual 68 in a practice round. That calm is the whole personality in one frame. This is a player who has built his entire empire on refusing to let any single moment feel bigger than it is. He doesn't ride the highs, so he doesn't crash on the lows. It's the exact mindset that made him nearly unbeatable for years. The quiet, boring, machine-like steadiness that grinds opponents into dust. But sit with it for a second, and something starts to feel off. because that same steadiness might be the thing quietly betraying him when the trophy gets close. Here's the uncomfortable math nobody wanted to put on screen. This was his 4th runner-up finish of the season. He's now 0-2 in playoffs this year alone, and he hasn't lifted a trophy since January when he won his very first start of the season out in the California desert. Meanwhile, the underlying numbers are almost cartoonish. He had rolled off dozens of straight top 25 finishes, a streak that only Tiger Woods has beaten in the last 40 years, and he's piled up more top 10s in these big-money signature events than anyone else on tour. So the world's best ball striker keeps showing up, keeps giving himself chances, keeps standing over the putt that wins it. And lately, he keeps walking away with silver instead of gold. The engine is perfect. Something at the very last gear keeps slipping. That's not a choke in the ugly, panicked sense people love to throw around. It's stranger and quieter than that. And it was written all over how unbothered he looked while handing the tournament away. Now flip the camera, because the man standing on the other side of that green was living the exact opposite life. Back in 2023, Viktor Hovland looked like he was about to take over the sport. He won the Tour Championship, banked the biggest check in golf, and carried himself like a future number 1. The trajectory pointed straight up, and then it just stopped. What followed was 15 months without a single win. Not a drought you shrug off. A genuine, grinding, where-did-it-go kind of collapse for a player who had just been on top of the world. The reason is buried in who Hovland actually is. He's a tinkerer, obsessive about his swing to a fault, forever chasing the perfect motion, forever diving down what he himself calls rabbit holes. When it clicks, he flushes iron shots as pure as anyone in the game. When it doesn't, one bad swing plants a seed of doubt that spreads through his whole round. Over those 15 months, the doubt won more often than not. People started writing him off, quietly slotting him into that painful category of players who peaked early and faded. The talent was never the question. Whether he could ever trust it again, that was the question hanging over him. He said something after the win that told you everything about what those months felt like. Talking about his own game, he admitted that when he falls short, it really ticks him off. Not a polished, media-trained line. Raw frustration from a guy holding a trophy, still angry about all the times he didn't. That's the engine underneath Hovland. Scheffler is fueled by calm. Hovland is fueled by irritation, by the gap between how good he knows he can be and how often he'd been falling short of it. Same finish line, 2 completely opposite fires driving them toward it. You could see the tension leaking out during the round 2. He bogeyed 4 of his first 10 holes on Sunday and looked like a man fighting his own swing again. Then the rain came, play stopped, and that break might have saved his week. He said afterward that getting completely off the course let him reset, and when he came back, he felt like a different player. 3 birdies in a rush, and suddenly he'd clawed level with the best in the world. The tinkerer had finally found the setting he'd been hunting for 15 months, and he found it in the worst possible spot for his opponent, down the stretch, with everything on the table. Then there's the human weight of the moment, the part that has nothing to do with golf swings. When Hovland finally rolled in that winning birdie, his mother was there watching him win in person for the very first time, not on a screen from Norway. Actually there, close enough to hug him seconds later. His father still hasn't seen him win live, and you could hear what that meant to him when he talked about sharing the moment with his mom. Behind the green, a wall of Norwegian fans who'd been following him all week erupted, and he went over and did the row with them, the celebration their soccer fans do. A player who'd spent over a year being doubted, suddenly surrounded by the loudest, happiest proof that people still believed. That's not background noise to the win. That's the reason the win cracked something open in him. So now stand both men next to each other and answer the question this whole thing has been circling. Did Hovland beat Scheffler, or did Scheffler beat himself? And the honest answer, the one that survives a rewatch, is that both things are true at the exact same time. And that's what makes it so good. Scheffler absolutely handed one over. The shorter putt, the flawless week, the miss he makes 99 times out of 100. Nobody's pretending that four-footer wasn't a gift. But look at what forced it. Hovland made his putt first. He rolled his in and put every ounce of the pressure back on Scheffler's shoulders, so that a good putt was suddenly not good enough. You don't get to miss a comfortable four-footer if the other guy hasn't already made his. Hovland created the exact situation where a tiny slip became fatal. That's the trap in picking a clean side. The people screaming that Scheffler choked are ignoring a man who spent 15 months in the wilderness and clawed his way back with 3 clutch birdies and a nerveless winning stroke against the best player on earth. And the people insisting Hovland won it fair and square are quietly skipping past the fact that the world number 1 basically left the door unlocked. The truth is that golf, at this level, is decided in margins so thin they barely exist. One putt a hair too firm, one putt rolled in first to apply the squeeze. The distance between hero and heartbreak on that green was about the width of a coffee cup, and maybe that's the real lesson sitting under all of it. Scheffler's calm made him a machine, but calm doesn't chase you down when you fall short. It lets you shrug and move on, maybe a little too easily. Hovland's anger nearly buried him for a year, but that same anger is exactly what dragged him off the mat and back into the winner's circle. The mindset that makes you dominant and the mindset that makes you desperate collided on one green, and this time desperation blinked last. Whether that holds up when these two meet again with a major on the line is the question that makes the next chapter must watch. So I want to hear it from you now. Did Hovland earn this, or did Scheffler give it away? Drop your verdict in the comments and tell me honestly which side you landed on. And if this breakdown made you see that 4-foot putt differently than you did the first time, hit subscribe, because these two aren't done with each other, and I'll be right here when they run it back.